are one.
We are one.
Good morning. Welcome to all you wonderful people here in this room. Welcome. Wonderful to be here on a new, fresh morning in community with each other as spiritual seekers. Welcome also to those of you who join online this morning. We are not the same without you, and we know that you're joining in and you're an important part of our community, so welcome to you as well. We are in the midst of exploring all the ways that we are the complicated, complex people of both shadow and light. It would be easy for us to focus on the light and the positive values that we aspire to all the time and ignore the dark places and the shadowy corners of our living. But it would be dishonest, wouldn't it? And so we've been spending a number of weeks exploring those places where we don't really love to tread, but where it helps us to acknowledge those places like our anger, our fear, our anxiety, our depression, our places that we experience, that we feel, but that are difficult to talk about and difficult to address, difficult to even name. So today, I welcome you into more of that as we gather to talk about a really amazing topic we all love to speak about and think about, grief and death. Happy day. Alas, it's a good time to do that because in the tradition of the Jesus tradition, we would celebrate this as Palm Sunday, the first day in the last week of Jesus' life, and we'll talk about how all of that fits together and how that leads us into this time of exploring the darkness and the paths of toward death, really, which we're all on. So let's be brave, let's be courageous, and let's go there together. But alas, before we do that, I've welcomed you, but I want to help us to place ourselves in this place, in this time, to know that a whole week has happened, a whole morning has happened, a whole who knows what has happened. And regardless of whatever that has been, we're here now. And this is a time to take a breath, to just be present here with each other, with yourself, to allow this time to be whatever you need it to be about who you are and who you're becoming. And as we come to this place in community, we recognize and honor the fact that there's no requirement for any of us to be on our best behavior or a certain way. But part of a community is building a safer place for all people to be exactly who we are and who we need to be. And so I welcome you to this place that we try our best to make a safe place for all people, all sizes, all ages, all colors, all cultures, all genders, all sexualities, all abilities, all religions or none, all learning styles and neurotypes, all people, period. So welcome to each and every one of you on this journey we take together each and every time we gather. Welcome to you. And let us focus now on the act, sometimes easy, sometimes difficult, of being here.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Terry McDougall, and I'll be your gathering companion today. Each time we meet, we bring this light into our room. In doing so, we bring a little bit of extra light into our hearts, into our families, and into our community. When enough light is shared in community, it has the potential to grow to become a beacon for the world. And that's what we hope we are. And carrying one step further, as we shine our light, we ask for illumination regarding the long story of this land on which we meet every Sunday. As inherited signatories of Treaty 6, both here and in Saskatoon, we acknowledge our shared responsibility to this land and to the honoring of those who came first. Some of them, the Cree, the Saulteaux, the Blackfoot, Métis, Dene, Nakota Sioux, and for this part of Edmonton specifically, the Papas Chase First Nation. May we continue to grow and learn in the history of this land, and may we always be mindful of our responsibility as treaty people.
I will open my heart to the joy and pain of living as I live.
Hello. Welcome. No invitation needed, but in case you want one, come to the carpet. It's story time.
I want to help you with the tablet. I want to help you with that.
Sure. You can help. Whoa. Oh, there we go. Okay. I have a story for us today. It's called The Heart and the Bottle, and it is by Oliver Jeffers. Do you know Oliver Jeffers? Very good author. I'm just going to say one thing about this story before we start. Have you ever felt sad or lonely or scared or any of those things? If you have, it sometimes feels like our heart is crying. I don't know how to explain it. It kind of feels when I'm feeling sad like my heart hurts. Like it's not just my eyes that leak. It's not just my head that hurts. My whole self kind of feels tight and sad and all of that. And sometimes we don't know what to do when that happens. And this is a story about a person who, like all of us, was feeling something really strong in her heart and wanted to protect herself, wanted to protect her heart. We all want to protect our hearts and everything in us. We want to protect it. And this is a story of how this person protected her heart. Okay, here we go. Page 1.
Oh, okay.
Once there was a girl, much like any other. Oh, I never know to hold left or right. Here we go. I'll hold left. The girl's head was filled with all the curiosities of the world. Look at all these thoughts she was having.
Oh my God, I accidentally hit the next.
That's okay. Whales, monkeys that are sculpting things, plants, boats, space. She was thinking about a whole lot. She had thoughts of stars. Yes, I wonder if they're like lightning bugs or bees on fire, yeah. She thought about wonder at the sea. She had wonder about the sea. Look at just lying on the water. She took delight in finding new things. Here she's finding some happiness doing what here? Coloring, drawing, all that kind of stuff. I think she drew a purple whale. You might be right. Until the day that she found an empty chair. Now, this is a very interesting page. What do you think this means that she found an empty chair?
Oh,
There's an empty
wait.
chair.
The next page is just the same.
I know you know the next page, Tyler. Okay, I'm going to go back. Tyler, do you want to go back with me? We're going to go back a few to this page with all the funny things. Can you see who's in this chair with her?
Grandpa.
It looks like it might be Grandpa. Okay. So now, one day she found an empty chair.
Oh.
What do you think?
I think he passed away.
I think he might have died. I know. You don't want to say it. I know, because it's sad. And Oliver Jeffers, the author, didn't say it either, but he's letting us think. He's letting us use our imaginations. Okay, here's the next page. Feeling unsure, the girl thought the best thing was to put her heart in a safe place, just for the time being.
Oh wait, I can also see the things on here too.
Excellent.
I also can see words.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to read the words. You can silently read them to yourself. So she put it in a bottle, her heart. She put her heart in a bottle around her neck. Yes, this is a good question. How? I don't know. I don't know.
It's like a big bottle and with like 2 holes. So
Yeah,
and
I have no idea.
how did she get that big of a bottle though?
But remember what I said at the beginning about what she thought she might want to do with her heart? She's putting it there to protect it. She's feeling feelings. She's feeling lots of things. And she thought the best way for her was to put her heart in a safe place. And that seemed to fix things. Next page. Although in truth, nothing was the same. She forgot about the stars. And she stopped noticing the sea. She was no longer filled with all the curiosities of the world and didn't take much notice of anything. Other than how heavy and awkward the bottle had become. Can you imagine wearing a bottle around your neck? It's not easy.
With a heart in it.
With a heart in it. But at least she thought her heart was safe. It might never have occurred to the girl what to do had she not met someone smaller and still curious about the world. Look, here's someone small. She's having some thoughts about
An elephant in the sea.
an elephant in the sea. There was a time when the girl would have known how to answer her. But not now, not without her heart. And it was right at that moment she decided to get it back out of the bottle. But she didn't know how. Look, she's shaking it. Next one.
But how did she get it in the bottle if she can't get it out?
You are right.
There's a hole.
But look, the author says she didn't know how, she couldn't remember. She couldn't remember.
Oh, I can make a dot.
And nothing seemed to work. Look, she's got saws, she's got vacuum cleaners, she's got drills.
Yeah, oh yeah, she does have drills
Yeah.
right there.
Thank you, Tyler. I'm going to take this. Thanks. I'll just do this for a while. The bottle couldn't be broken. It just bounced and rolled. Plop, boing, 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 boing.
Why did she build a wall?
Well, she wanted to try to break that bottle. It rolled right down to the sea, but there it occurred to someone smaller and still curious about the world that she might know a way. Oh, she might know a way. Ooh. And it just so happened that she did. She got the heart out of the bottle for her.
But why does it look ripped on that part and not ripped on
I don't know. But look at how lovely that is, that she was able to get her heart out for her. The heart was put back where it came from. Right there.
How are you supposed to put it back in or take it out?
Good question. And the chair, it turns out, wasn't so empty anymore. What was in that chair now? Her? Yes! And her thoughts, and all the ideas that she shared, and all the imagination, and all the amazing things her heart helped her to do and feel. Oh, well, I should have kept going on that sentence. Now I have to read this one again. The chair wasn't so empty anymore, but the bottle was.
What But the bottle, what happened?
Bottle's empty.
Yeah, but where is the bottle?
Do you think she needs it anymore?
No.
I guess not.
I think it's washed away by the sea.
Maybe it got washed away. Yeah, that's a good idea.
They ended up, the girl and the lady ended up at the beach.
They did.
And so I think maybe the bottle just stayed there.
Yeah, that's a very good thought. That she didn't need the bottle anymore after the beach.
Maybe she put a message in it.
Ooh, fun idea. A message in a bottle. I like that. I just want us to think about one more thing. We have to protect our hearts. We do. And right when she put that heart in her bottle, she said, I'm going to put it here for a while. Right? She didn't say forever, for a while. And then she forgot. She forgot how to get it out. I want us to think about what really helped her get her heart back.
A little girl.
Yes. And it could have been anyone maybe. Didn't have to be her. But what do you think that was about?
She was wondering more.
Wondering more?
But she was thinking and trying to figure it out.
Yes.
And that was like in the past as well, but like way stronger. So I think like she got more of it.
She started having those ideas and that creativity back, and maybe even stronger, right? Yeah. And someone helped her to do that.
Yeah.
I was thinking the girl would be like a smaller version of her when she was younger. And then in the, it was like a flashback that she was like in the flashback.
It was like a flashback. She was seeing maybe herself as a young girl again. What do you have to say? Her imagination helped. And I think that other girl on the beach helped her get her imagination back. Helped her talk about it. Helped her share those wonderful thoughts that she was having. And somehow, the heart came back. She was able to get it out of the bottle with her. It's amazing. I love this story. There's lots of ways we could say, hey, wait a minute, that didn't make sense, but isn't this beautiful that we can talk about the way we feel and the way we sometimes want to not feel very much, so we put it away, and then how others can help us feel again. It's so lovely.
How did the girl get it in the bottle?
And Tyler, you're back. Thank you.
I just walked right.
It's lovely.
She get
And thank you for helping.
the heart out of the
These are all wonderful questions, and
bottle.
my time is up with you, so you'll have to ask someone else.
Or you can read it.
Thank you all for coming to the carpet. You're wonderful, amazing people. I loved sharing this book with you. You're very welcome. It's time for Kids Spirit. If you'd like to go to our program, you're welcome to. If you'd like to stay at the table or in the toy room, you're also welcome to that. Ooh, you're going to get a tour. Oh, that was exciting. I'll just say, never underestimate, do we, the wisdom of children. Beautiful. So we have some invitations and some things in the life of the community that are coming up, and I'd like to share just one or two of them. This week we have an extra gathering that we can share time with one another this Friday evening at 7 o'clock. We'll gather in this space. The lights will be dimmer. We'll have a time to reflect on the last of our aspects of light and shadow that we've been exploring. We'll have the chance to ponder in the events and the stories of the Good Friday evening. We'll have a chance to explore shame and guilt in our living and how that makes a difference and how we bring light to it. So we will explore that on Friday evening. And then, of course, welcome next Sunday to an Easter celebration, a gathering just like any of our others, but our musicians will join us again, and we'll celebrate the tradition of Easter on our morning next week. Karen had something to share this morning.
Good morning. My name's Karen Henderson. I'm the kitchen coordinator and part of property maintenance. Over the past year, I've put in a considerable number of hours bringing our kitchen up to speed. There were a few deficiencies. If you've looked at the Morning Messenger, I've provided a bit of a summary there. Part of what we need to do, of course, is always keep it clean. So April 3rd and 10th, 9 o'clock in the morning, if you are able, we need some people to do the deep clean of the kitchen. We pull out everything, we clean everything, scrub it down. Last year, I intentionally did it on my own. I wanted to get a better sense of the kitchen. It took about 30 hours. With a group of people, clearly it's not going to take that long. A couple of things I would bring your attention to is our hand wash sink has been changed out. The old tap used to spray water back, so it's really important. Wash your hands. If you go to the bathroom and wash your hands, which of course we all do, when you come into the kitchen, you're supposed to wash your hands again. I did a 2-day food handling course, and that was part of my learnings there. Something else that has changed, or perhaps I learned, is that the bleach solution that we have out doesn't last. It actually destabilizes within 24 hours. So if you make a batch in the morning, dump it at the end of the day, it's not going to be any good, so it needs to be remade all the time. Something that hasn't changed, which is the reason I'm up here, is the concept that if you or your group use the kitchen, you and your group are responsible for cleaning it up, and that has not been happening consistently. I came in the Saturday before the AGM, and there were 2 trays of dirty dishes. Once you hit the second one, pretty reasonable to start the sanitizer and run it through. Last week, I won't specify the day, I came in for a meeting in the afternoon, and there was a sink full of dirty coffee cups, which means all of those users chose to walk away for someone else to clean. There is no one else, there's just us. On part of my course, we were regaled with wonderful pictures as to what happens when safety and cleaning standards aren't held. We're nowhere near that. But it's a good thing I didn't eat my lunch before. It is terrifying. The reason it's so important is if you don't put away a chair or a table, it's annoying. But we're fortunate enough to have a commercial kitchen, and the cleanliness of that is important for all of us to make sure that we're safe and healthy. And I look forward to everyone's cooperation in maintaining the kitchen standards. If you have any questions, please feel free to talk to me. We've got signs up. Dara is familiar with most of the kitchen operations standards. So there's people available to help. And really look forward to making sure that we can keep this asset usable for everyone. Thank you.
Our first wisdom reading this morning comes from our tradition, from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 14, starting at verse 3. Jesus was in Bethany, a guest in the home of Simon. While at dinner, a woman came with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume. She broke the jar and poured the perfume on his head. Some of those present were saying indignantly to one another, "Why this waste? It could have been sold for more than a year's wages and the money given to those who need it." And they rebuked that woman harshly. "Leave her alone," Jesus said. "Why are you bothering her? She has just done something wonderfully significant for me. The poor will always be present, and you shall help them every day. But this woman, she did what she could. She poured perfume on my body beforehand to prepare for my burial. I tell you, whenever news of this is told, what she has done will also be told in her memory." These are words passed down to us from the first century Jesus tradition. May we find wisdom for our living.
The way it is, Rosemary Watola Trommer. Over and over we break open. We break and we break and we open. For a while we try to fix the vessel, as if to be broken is bad. As if with glue and tape and a steady hand we might bring things to perfect again. As if it were never perfect. Pardon me, as if it were ever perfect. As if to be broken is not also perfect. As if to be open is not the path toward joy. The vase that's been shattered and cracked will never hold water. Eventually it will leak, and at some point, perhaps we decide that we're done with picking the flowers anyway. No longer need a place to contain them. We watch them grow just as wildflowers do, unfenced, unmanaged, blossoming only when they're ready. And my God, how beautiful they are amidst the mounting pile of shards. These are words of a contemporary American poet.
we aren't helped in talking about our death with the culture that we live in, that likes to sanitize and clean everything up. Anything to do with that topic in favor of optimism and, well, capitalism. All of it convincing us that we can avoid or distract ourselves from our own deaths. We aren't helped either by the Christian church that developed whole belief systems around the idea that our death is somehow not final. It's all contributed to us not having a very realistic relationship with death. The result, when you don't talk about it, it gets imbued with a power and it breeds fear. I remember one time I took a youth group on a tour of a funeral home. This sounds really morbid and crazy. We were talking about the realities of life and death. And I will never forget that the person who toured us through the funeral home was showing us every single door in the place. This is the broom closet. This is the room where this happens. This is the room where that happens. This is where our office is. Look at this one. Look at this room. I said, why did you show us every single nook and cranny in this place? And he said, oh, because the door you don't open is where the fear happens. It's where these kids learn, the scary thing must be behind that door. I thought that was really bright, really wise. As Mark Nepo writes, the gateway to meaning is not in avoiding loss or getting over loss, but in the effort to accept what is while keeping our hearts open. Ironically, in order to live fully, we have to be able to talk about and embrace our mortality. Open all of those doors, the loss, the grief of it all, and what it could be to find meaning in that mortality in a way that doesn't rely on old and perhaps tired religious ideas and beliefs, but that is about our own human retrospection, our own human wisdom and knowledge. And yet, having said that, the stories of our tradition can help us enter this conversation and the emotion of the realities of our living and our dying. This week in the Christian tradition is one in which we tell stories of the last week of Jesus' life, his march toward Jerusalem, his eventual execution for treason. Today, there are many stories that could be told. We could tell the story of a farcical palm parade that made a political and religious statement satirizing the Roman occupiers of the time. We could tell the story of the last meal that Jesus had with friends, where a betrayal by one of those friends leads to his arrest. We could tell the story of the sham trial that follows, that accuses Jesus on vague charges of mischief and treason. We could tell the story of his execution itself. But instead, on this day, when we're acknowledging the challenge for any of us, for all of us, in acknowledging death and grief in our lives, we share a story that speaks of all of that and brings the topic of death into the light from the shadows and recognizes how we feel in the face of that mortality. So Jesus is right there in Jerusalem. It's in the last week of his life, and he finds sanctuary in a home just outside of Jerusalem. And in this house, among friends, an anonymous woman, unnamed, go figure, an anonymous woman claims a place at the dinner table and breaks a container over Jesus' head drenches him in this expensive oil that was used not just for anything, it wasn't cooking oil, it wasn't perfume to dab behind your ears, it was used for death. It was strong. It covered the sense of death that you could imagine in the first century. This was a gesture to state the obvious. This man's death, as she pours this oil, is inevitable. Death is around the corner. Everyone knew that what he was teaching, all of these stories about love, about access to a spiritual life that didn't go through the mediaries of the priests and the elite, all of these things that pissed off all the powers that be, was leading only in one direction. And they all knew what happened to insurrectionists and people who upset the powers. Everyone knew. If anyone was prone to deny it, then she, in essence, said, "Smell the truth." There's a Latin phrase, memento mori. Remember, you must die. Along with the sound of breaking porcelain or whatever this perfume was in, there was the release of this scent into the fear and the defeat and the brooding dark of this troubled time, when the deadly alliance of political and religious forces will do anything to silence dissent with violence and spin fear into hate. As she breaks her container, the stench of fear and death was infused with this aroma, yes, of death, but also of love. Some said it was a waste, but he said it was beautiful. Jesus celebrated her gesture and received it as her gift of doing whatever she could to call everyone to reality, to confront the pain that was so palpable. She was the only one, perhaps, in the room that wasn't paralyzed by fear of what was to come. She didn't try to pretend death wasn't in the air. She didn't stay away because she didn't know what to say. She came with her jar. She came with her bouquet of flowers. She came with her card of compassion. She came with her casserole. Because you don't know what to say, but you can act in care and compassion. It was a beauty born of brokenness, of a heart broken open to the pain of the moment, and it was the instinct of an expansive heart. It didn't come out of a constricted and fearful heart. It came as a gift of accompaniment, an expression of presence in the face of being powerless to change the circumstances. We are all powerless to change the circumstances. It sounds cliche, but it's so true, isn't it? That tomorrow is promised to no one. There's a role, though, in that reality for caring and loving community to play in befriending that shadow. To say, yes, smell it. The reality of death is among us. However, it doesn't have to be treated with fear, with shadow, with silence. It's this precise pain that has led, this pain of that reality of death that's led us humans to come up with every manner of idea to avoid it and ease our existential pain. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. we all have to cope with the darkness of our deaths in whatever way works for us. I do hope that we'll take the advice of these wisdom givers in the poet and in this anonymous woman, that we don't close our eyes and our hearts to the reality in hopes that it will take away the pain and fear of our finite existence, that we might not hide behind beliefs or dogma that would take away the reality of what we need to face. Like this woman with the jar of perfume, we help each other bring ourselves to the difficult acknowledgement of the end being the end. And in doing that for each other, we turn to the parts of our tradition that are helpful in a very real way. We turn not to the future, to some Eden-like heaven, where we can just imagine that our fears and our anxieties don't exist, not to a place that lets us abdicate our responsibilities for living here right now. We turn not to the future, but we turn to the present. We focus on the now, and we turn to face each other and the world, and we ponder, how are we living right now? How might we bring the light of the shadow looming over our own demise, our crumbling bodies? How do we have courage to not hide in some upper room, not knowing what to say, not scared to come out and face what needs facing, but learning to step up and stand and face it? But that we learn how to do life even as we're dying. That we learn to die well. And ask all of the questions demanded of us. What will we do? How then will we live? How deep and how wide will we love? For whom will we care? All of these things, based solely and importantly in the here and now. The poet is right. Rosemary Trommer says, and I'll read it again because it is so beautiful, "The vase that's been shattered and cracked will never hold water. Eventually it will leak, and at some point perhaps we decide that we're done with picking our flowers anyway and no longer need a place to contain them. We watch them grow just as wildflowers do, unfenced, unmanaged, blossoming only when they're ready, and my God, how beautiful they are amidst the mounting pile of shards." We can keep our hearts in a bottle, but not for long. We can protect ourselves and put ourselves in a vault to protect our fragile beings. But it's no way to live. That's a world that has no beauty, no love, no care, no compassion. These cracked vessels were never perfect anyway. So I wonder if we can't commit to being cracked vessels. Not broken in a way that needs fixing. Not cracked in destruction, but cracked open to beauty, to reality, to love. To living wholeheartedly and relying on each other to face the reality of our grief, the challenge of being awake, aware, and alive to our frailty. And placing our hearts back where they belong. Here, in our beautiful, flawed, cracked, fragile, and feeling chests.
of my family, as one of my family, I'll break bread with you. Break bread with me, symbol of a community, a commitment we will renew. Encourage me as one of my family, as one of my family, I'll encourage you. Encourage me, loving in community, a commitment we will renew.
This is a table that's been set for us with the things of the earth. A little bit of bread, a little bit of fruit. These are things symbolically that sustain us in life. It's our biological need. But what happens when we break bread with others? What happens when we share a meal or share food with others? It is more than biological. It does something that connects us, that shares with one another the deepest needs, desires, hopes, and dreams for each other and for our world. And so whenever we have this table set for us, we're invited to ponder how that connection we have with each other and our precious world might be strengthened, where it needs us, where we need each other. We come face to face with life all the time. But this is our opportunity to take this bread, baked so lovingly for us to share with each other, and to recognize our brokenness and our continued breaking, but, boy, are we ever beautiful? Are we ever delicious, even in our brokenness? And it's a chance for us to take this fruit. It's just a couple of grapes. But oh, are they the potential? Are they the sweetness of life? For when life is shared, love expressed, compassion offered. And so in this meal, we're welcome to participate as in whatever way we need to. It's an invitation to come to ourselves in a new way, to come to each other with common needs, to commit to creating a world of inclusion, sufficiency, wisdom, integration, compassion, and hopefulness. So come to this table in whatever way you need, to be welcomed at this table or to hold the circle wherever you're sitting to enjoy the music. You don't need to be a member of this church or any church to participate in this ritual, to share a little food with each other. You don't have to believe A, B, or C. You need not be this way or that. If you're hungry for connection, if you're thirsty for community, you're welcome, just as you are. So, if you would like to come forward, there will be a couple of stations here. You're welcome to take a cup that has bread and a few grapes in it, and take it back to your seat and just enjoy the music, enjoy each other, and enjoy the commitment to life that it engenders. So you're welcome exactly as you are, invited, affirmed, whole. May we come. Food for you.
I'm going to be changing the light, and not to diminish it in any way, just change it. Take this light with you into your day, into your week, and spread it wherever you go. And with that, we'll strengthen our intentions by reading. We go about our living with fragmented hearts. Challenges are mixed with ease, grief with joy, confidence with fear, feelings all a jumble. May we recognize the complexity of our living and the many responses of our bodies, minds, and spirits to our world. May we embrace the shadows of our human experience, disconnected, messy shards of our living. Alone, we struggle to feel the whole picture, see the whole picture, touch the whole picture, live the whole picture. In community, may we help tend each other's struggles and call each other to find, name, and mend the fragmented pieces of ourselves, and together experience more of life's picture. We are not alone. We journey together. May it be so.